Greetings Halo fans! Today we are taking a look at the Mattel Halo 6-inch Spartan Kelly action figure. Now Kelly is part of the revised Wave 1 case that also includes Fred, the Master Chief, Spartan Locke, Spartan Helioscryll, and the Elite Zealot. After Wave 1 was released back in the summer, Mattel made an announcement in the fall that they were going to commence with the early retirement of the Air Assault Spartan and Spartan Linda and replace them with Fred and Kelly respectively. And this figure was really quite difficult to acquire. I wasn't able to order it offline. I actually had to source it locally through an area Walgreens store. But here she is, and it's a really nice action figure. I previously opened the figure. That's why you don't see her gauntlet armor in the upper right hand corner of the tray. So let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. Of course, this is the standard packaging by Mattel for the 6-inch figures. Nice Forerunner Art Deco going on around the box, and the Halo typeset up there. And you've got the nice window panel with the armor segments displayed, as well as the figure. Kelly's name and her Spartan 2 service number down at the bottom. Of course, on the side, you've got more artwork of Kelly. On the back of the packaging, you have your obligatory product images. On the left, you have the actual figure with a non-removable helmet, as well as the armor segments in the center. The lower left details the other figures in this wave. And of course, in the lower right is the new Crawler Snipe figure that is part of the Builder figure series in this assortment. So what we're going to do now is pause the video, and we're going to remove her from the tray packaging and come back and see what it's all about. Stay tuned. Alright guys, we're back with the Mattel Halo 6-inch Spartan Kelly action figure. Really excited to have this figure in hand. Kelly's one of my favorite characters from the Halo franchise. And back in the fall of 2016, Mattel made the announcement that they were going to suspend production of Linda and the Air Assault Spartan and replace them with Fred and Kelly. And I'm really glad they decided to do that. As I previously stated, that was a smart move on their part. We only got one wave in 2016. And in all honesty, that's not unusual for a new toy line. You know, Mattel's trying to gauge customer reaction, the sales, iron out any QC issues, and really that's what I want to address in this video review. I'm going to talk about the pros and the cons of this figure and really point out some things that I've discussed with representative with Mattel that they intend to address. Right off of the bat, I want to talk about how this figure looks. My first impressions were that it's phenomenal. There's been a lot of changes with the color, the paint applications, that sort of thing, between the initial wave and the revised wave. As you can see, Kelly's armor is a gunmetal color. It's got yellow accents there on the armor and the body glove. However, there's also silver accents, metallic accents. You can see here on the shin armor of the figure, also up here on the inside of the gauntlet armor, as well as on the back of her hand here, on her thigh armor, on the side of her helmet, and on the back of the thruster pack back here. So there's a lot of design changes. You can see the gray and the blue on the body glove just looks really, really nice. Nice looking action figure. And I really like that. I really appreciate the level of detail that they've given us. So the first thing I want to address right off the bat are the continued complaints about the paint applications, that they don't look like the McFarlane figures. Well, Mattel is not McFarlane. Both companies have different design goals and putting these figures together, what they want to do with them. Mattel is the second largest toy company in the world, and these figures aren't exclusively for collectors. They are for kids to play with, and that's something you have to keep in mind. Could they invest the money in them to put the level of detail and paint applications that McFarlane did? Certainly, they sure could. Are they going to do it? Most likely not, unless they produce a limited production run of a figure or an exclusive edition just for collectors. The reason being is that, you know, sales. It all comes down to the bottom line. They're not going to go out there and produce a figure with that level of detail if it's not going to sell. So feedback is very important for companies like Mattel. And I encourage you guys, if you encounter issues, to email Mattel and let them know. They take that stuff very, very seriously. You know, just speaking with the representative that I spoke to, mid-level individual, and they assured me that it was going to go to the highest level of review in Mattel, and that, you know, my voice would be heard, and I really appreciate that. Second issue I want to address are the weapons. The two reviews that I've seen of Kelly, one written, one video, both had negative things to say about these figures all the way around. And I really feel like that's unfair to both the company and to you, the viewer, because both of these guys have a very significant internet presence, YouTube channel with a lot of subscribers, and that has a tendency to affect a person's informed decision on whether they're going to buy this figure or not. And if you're, you know, just really spewing out critical and negative comments throughout the entire video versus giving an unbiased opinion, it's really going to sway the viewer to one side. And that's really not what we want to do here. I try to give you guys a very in-depth, detailed review of the toy while giving you an unbiased opinion and stating facts only, and not so much, you know, how I feel about it personally, although I do like the figure. So looking at the weapons, a while back 343 Industries had talked about their research into the weapons that the Spartans were using, and they said that the weapons were upscaled 21% from a standard weapon used by human soldiers to fit the hands of the Spartans. And the reason being, of course, Spartans are genetically enhanced humans that have a larger skeletal frame, larger mass, therefore larger hands, and they needed weapons that fit the Spartans but could also be used by regular soldiers. If you guys have seen the Halo live action film Nightfall, you recall Spartan Randall carrying an MA5 and Locke and his Oni team carrying M395 DMRs, and those DMRs were huge. They were really big rifles, and the reason for that is so that they could be used by the Spartans and by standard human troops. You really don't see it in the game mechanics as much playing the game unless you're picking up like a crew serve weapon like an M41 Lag or a Covenant weapon. However, that's really, quote unquote, in the real world, that's how they're designed. And that's one of the reasons why the M6 Magnum for these figures is so large. And that's what I've heard some complaints about. However, that's why they were designed that way. They were designed to be able to fit the Spartan's grip, so to speak. And I'm going to leave that shotgun off for just a moment. So these figures, of course, have over 30 points of articulation. Not really going to go into that. You guys have seen my other videos. You've also seen how the armor segments snap on, that sort of thing. That's the next issue I want to talk about. That's where a lot of the complaint has been with these two individuals and their reviews, that the armor segments just fall off on their own. That's not entirely true. These armor segments are designed to be removable. They have very short pegs on the inside of them. And again, I informed the Mattel rep about this. There's 14 on the Spartans, there's 16 on the Elites. They're designed to be interchangeable with characters of the same design. I'm not a big fan of that. I do like the fact that the armor segments are a separate segment from the body glove, because it makes the figure look a lot more realistic versus like the McFarlane figures where the armor and the body glove was just all part of one mold. So I'm going to talk about the most troublesome pieces on this figure, and we're going to begin with the leg armor. This is the shin armor. And of course it just snaps on the front of the leg like so, and it's tabbed into place. And then the calf armor, which tabs onto the back of the leg into another peg. And you can hear it kind of tab into place. And as it does so, it's secure. What happens is you know, you're manipulating an action figure and you're putting it in action poses and that sort of thing, and the armor has a tendency to come off when you're rubbing up against it, touching it, and what have you. The shotgun comes out of her hand pretty easy, and you can see here that her index finger is positioned to go inside the trigger guard of the shotgun. And if you continue to maneuver this around, you're going to bump into the Magnum. It's in really loose So it's going to come off, and that's because of that peg. So that's one problematic issue. The piece that comes off the most is this butt plate. It goes in right here on her butt, and it has a very, very short peg in it. And you can see the Armour kind of curves up, and that has a tendency to come off. And my suggestion is, if you don't intend to remove the Armour segments, you're going to be handling it a lot. You don't just have them displayed. Super glue it on, especially the butt plate, because that's the one piece that's going to come off the most. Everything else is pretty much there unless you start touching it. They aren't just falling off by themselves. You have to manipulate the figure, what have you, before you knock a piece off. And if these guys have been honest, that's what they're doing. The other thing I'm going to address are the foot armor. They both said that that falls off. That's not true. On the bottom, you can see that the foot armor, and on the initial Wave 1 figures, it slides over the boot on their body glove, and the toe was supposed to hold it tight, and the heel just kind of sits in there. And I spoke with the Mattel representative about this, about possibly making this one solid piece on the bottom. Yesterday I had to fight to get that off of her foot. It did not want to come off. It looks loose, it is a little loose, but it's not coming off of her foot, it's on there. And that's actually a change that they've made to that armor. It's designed differently than the other Spartans that I have. Locke, the Air Assault Spartan, Helios Grill Spartan, it's all on there a little bit differently, but on this particular figure, it's on there secure. Yes, there's movement in it on both of them, but they are not coming off. They're not going anywhere. So you guys can see that, you know, some of the things that we've heard in the reviews are really biased. It's really, you know, the opinion of these two individuals, and it's really unfair, you know, to you guys, the viewers, to hear such a thing. So I wanted to take a moment and address both of these issues with everyone so that you can really see this figure. You can see that her torso is really secure. Ball joint on her head is really secure. You know, she has the same articulation that the other figures do, but they've really made her look really, really nice. Her armor's nice, you know, and it's just a really cool action figure, and I'd encourage you guys to go out and pick it up. And she does include the head for the crawler snipe figure, and you have to buy all of the revised Wave 1 figures to build that as part of the Build-A-Figure that's included with these figures. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have the Mattel Halo 6-inch Spartan Kelly action figure. Thank you guys for watching my video. As always, feel free to leave your comments or questions on my YouTube channel. Really enjoy communicating with all you guys. Really appreciative to all of you who have chosen to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, please do subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Orion's Belt Creations. I display all of my customized toys on there. I'm also a contributing columnist for Outer Rim News. Outer Rim News is one of the leading Star Wars news sites on the internet today, with over 24,000 followers and subscribers. Everything from comics to commentaries to collectibles to video games, to live action films, to animated series. Outer Rim News has it covered where Star Wars is concerned. If you haven't checked them out, please do so. Subscribe to their tweets and their podcast. I mean, they just have a significant social media presence and a really good group of guys to work with. So thank you guys for watching my video. Stay tuned. There's more to come.